What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 204, and we start today's episode off with the confirmation that Ezekiel has indeed broken his elbow and will be out for 2 months. That's a bit of a shame, of course. We saw that in the last game, but unfortunately nothing we can do about it now. And also Makola says he wants a bigger role at the club. We also saw a transfer coming for Kyle Packwood, our young American centre midfielder. He's going to go on loan to Aston Villa for a season. Hopefully he'll develop there. He looks like an actually decent player for the future, you know, so hopefully he'll get some game time and develop quite nicely. Also, a transfer came in for Michael and Getafe, wanted for £4.2 million, and I was like, well, you know, am I really going to sell the hero of last year, or the series maybe, for £4.2 million? I don't think so. So we reject that deal, and we take on Norwich for today's first and only game of the episode. And we're away at Carrow Road for this game. And of course, after winning the first 2 league games, we beat QPR 1-0 in an unbelievably action-packed game, yet low-scoring game, the last game. And after beating Villa away from home in the first game of the league season, and of course beating Spurs in the Community Shield as well, I was feeling very confident, as you'd expect coming into this game. And of course, you know, no Ezekiel's a bit of a shame, of course, because he's made a great start to his new career here. But I would still feel very confident coming up against Chris Hughton's men, as he's known on the game as still the Norwich manager. So I still felt very confident. And the first chance of the game would fall here in the 3rd minute here, as Norwich failed to get the cross away. Suso wins this header and plays it back to Ryan Carrasco, who shoots from range, but unfortunately for us, Mark Bunn makes a good save and keeps it at 0-0. And in the 43rd minute, we have to wait until just before half time for another chance here, as Liali comes out of his area, heads the ball forward towards Leao Gutierrez, who plays a fantastic ball over the top towards Oxlade-Chamberlain. What a chance here, but unfortunately I got the finish completely wrong. I tipped it straight at Mark Bunn, and it's a simple save, so what a chance that was by messing it up completely. However, as the goalkeeper kicks the ball forward, Eric Dier wins the header. It falls to Suso, and it's another great chance the ball gets played over the top towards Oxlade-Chamberlain. This time when I would get it right, well, kind of. It was a great strike, but unfortunately Mark Bunn once again made the save. So still 0-0. I missed a couple of great opportunities there. But in the 76th minute here, as the game was still 0-0, I couldn't break Norwich down. And as Murphy gets on the ball here, he plays it forward towards Cisse at the far post. What a chance for Norwich to steal a late goal here. Cisse keeps holding the ball and crosses the ball in, but thankfully for us, Andy Carroll wins the header, but puts it just wide of the post. So what a chance for Norwich to get themselves a late winner, but thankfully the header goes just wide of the post. If you thought that was close, how about this? Leroy Fer takes his free kick, Murphy wins the header, Liali makes a great save, and then somehow Liali pulls off an incredible double save to keep the score at 0-0, and that was how the game finished. So a 0-0 draw, not really the best of results. Like I said, I was feeling very confident coming into this game, and unfortunately I just couldn't seem to break Norwich down in the second half, and in the first half really either. We had to be bailed out by Liali, making a couple of fantastic double saves late on in the game. So a 0-0 draw. Still very pleased to know we haven't conceded a single goal yet this season, but I was disheartened not to have scored, and of course that's where you would have liked Ezekiel to use his pace, but still 0-0 the final score. And then we get this notification to see we've got loads of players leaving on international duty. Look at how many players we've got leaving on international duty, that's crazy. And also we go into transfer deadline day as well, and of course in deadline day I wasn't really looking to do anything. Bids were coming in for some of our players, but I was in no mood to sell, because I've talked about this before. I don't think you should ever look to sell a big player on deadline day and then look to replace him, because you never really get the time to do that, you know, so I'd never recommend that. I was still trying to get hold of Danny Wright, the left back, but it wasn't looking likely. The clock was against me, the money was against me. I didn't really feel like we were going to get the chances, and I didn't feel like it was going to happen. We were doing our best to try and convince Stoke to let us take their left backs. It's quite a decent deal really for him, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen, and we will have to wait until January or in the summer if we'd like to take him. But Leverkusen go for Danny Ings, and again we reject it, because there's no way we're going to sell our striker now that Ezekiel is injured for the long-term future, or 2 months at least. And also Stoke, they just won't get a go at Danny Wright, so I said, right, screw it, I'll just leave it now, it's gone. He's not going to come in this window, and hopefully next year or in January, we'll have to wait and see. A bid also came for Harry Kane. PSG wanted for £80.5 million, and just like Monaco, we said if you give us £32.5 million, you can take him, and we'll wait and see what PSG say. And also again, Stoke said the bid for Danny Wright wasn't good enough, so we go back in for him. We had a little bit of money after adjusting the budget, but unfortunately, as I had no wage budget to offer, it would mean that I still couldn't sign him anyway. It's just I wanted to see how much it would take in order to claim him away from Stoke, because I was trying to do some terrible maths here. It took me a long time to work out how much it would take before I get rid of every single penny, or at least almost every single penny. But yeah, we put in a new bid for Danny Wright, and we'll wait and see what Stoke say. But like I said, we wouldn't be able to fulfill his contract anyway. But PSG said they're not going to come back in for Harry Kane. They said the price tag was too much. So I was like, fine fine, mate, fine, don't worry about it. And there you go, that would end transfer deadline day, because after the last hour, we did get an email from Stoke to say that the bid was too low, so we leave it as it is. So that does indeed end transfer deadline day. Pretty uneventful, but I'd already done the work I needed to do anyway. So here's a look at the clubs and how they did on transfer deadline day. I know a lot of people like looking at this, so you can check out how your favourite team did on during the January transfer window, and what they did during this month, summer transfer window, if you will, and what they did during this transfer window. And you can see how they did. And also as well, you see the top deals on the bottom right as well. Neymar went to Real Madrid for £57 million. Glenn Robinson went to us from Spurs for £37.5 million, and Belfodil went from Napoli to Bayern Munich for £28 million. So yeah, our two main rivals for the league last year, Chelsea and Spurs, both lost key players. So that's kind of nice to see, isn't it? And of course we signed one of them in Robinson. So yeah, there you go. But we spent about, I think it was £68 million in total. So we spent quite a lot of money during this transfer window, and it is, you know, quite risky when you spend all your budget in one window. But to be honest, I'm confident with the business we've done. You know, I really am. I think we've done some good business, and I know that Robinson is the overspend, and I know that a lot of people will be criticising that, and that's totally fine. I think that is a bad deal. I admit that. But for the rest of the business, Oxlade-Chamberlain for £17 million, Ezekiel for £14 million, another player, Sousa, on a free as well, Tilson for, I think it was £7.5 million. I think some of the business we've done has been quite good, to be honest. So, yeah, there you go. But also, Nyland got a training injury. Our third choice goalkeeper will be out for 2 months as well. And also, as we enter a new month, you can see the youth academy and how the players are doing. Only 1 or 2 in there I'm looking forward to signing. And also, here's a look at the successful negotiations page. Packwood went to Villa on a season-long loan. Dimas Squeeters went to Carlisle on a season-long loan. Robinson went to Everton for £2.3 million. Anson went to Watford on a loan. Ermakov went to Napoli. De Paula went to QPR on a season-long loan. Oxlade-Chamberlain came for £17 million. Ezekiel came for £14 million. Robinson came in for £37.5 million. Wilkinson came in for £13 million. And Tilson came in for £7.5 million. Now I can take a quick breather. Yeah, so that's a look at this successful negotiation page and the business we did in the summer transfer window. And also here is a look at the players as well. Of course, a look at the squad report. A reminder: squad reports come out at the start of every single calendar month, as does the league table. And as you can see there as well, Eric Dier is now a 91 rated centre back. Gotta love it. Gutierrez 1 away from hitting 90. Can't wait for that day to happen. Yeah, the squad is just looking monstrous, isn't it? It's looking absolutely incredible. The business we've done has been fantastic, and I'm really happy with everything we've done. And it's a shame to see Carrasco starting to decrease in terms of physical stats, but that was always going to happen eventually. Triggs up to an 85, Robinson of course an 84, but already some attributes are improving. I'm just so happy with this squad, you know, I really am. I definitely feel like this year we should be, even though it's our first season in the Champions League ever with Millwall, believe it or not, I still feel like we should be challenging for the Champions League this year with this fantastic squad. And also nice to see John Joe Anderson developing as well on his first month at a new club in Watford on loan. And yeah, I'm very pleased with the start we've made. And after 3 games in the league as well, we currently sit in 2nd place with 2 wins and a draw, 0 goals conceded and 7 points. So obviously you can't really judge the full league table after the first couple of games, but still always nice to get off to an early start, a good early start, and that's what we've done. And also a quick look as well at the Champions League group we've been drawn with. And it's quite a decent group as well. We've got Ajax, we've got Galatasaray, and we've got Schalke. And you know, those teams are okay, don't get me wrong, but I think we should top that group. I really do. With our squad, I think we should be able to top that group. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that group. You know, we could have come up against teams like Barcelona or Real Madrid or Bayern Munich or so on, but those 3 teams, I think we can beat all of them, to be honest. So I think we should be able to top that group. Not with ease, but I feel like we should be able to win it at least. But anyway, the last thing you'll see is a look at the scout reports as well. Now I just want to say straight away, a lot of people have been asking me why I'm so sort of against the scouting this year. A lot of people have been saying I thought you'd prefer it this way because it stops it from being too unrealistic. And the reason being is quite simple. I do know that realism is great and it's fantastic for career mode, but as I've said many times before, I really do feel like youth players and fake players and regens and new gens, they make your series your own, you know. And for a YouTuber, that's what I'm a little bit frustrated about, because for me it's hard not to sign the same players, and you know, to sign youth players is very difficult. So that's what I'm frustrated about. So don't get me wrong, I do understand it is probably a little bit more realistic this way, and that's totally fine. But you know, I do, you know, as a YouTuber, it's a bit frustrating for me to know that it does mean that my chance of signing different players every now and then is a little bit limited. But as always, guys, big thank you for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. Hopefully I made sense of that. Thanks for watching the video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like, because it's much appreciated and it really does help my channel out. And I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode. Yeah, I'll see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon.